Epilogue. Richard packed his clothes into a satchel as Paul and Eltherea looked on. They stood in the doorway of his room, the room that was Eltherea's a few years earlier, until she had constructed her own weaving nearby. Paul shook his head as Richard pulled out the other place clothing he had on when he first arrived in Toulouse and stuffed it in his bag. "You sure about this?" Paul said. "It's been 5 years here. Who knows how much time has passed there? At this point, there might not even be a there. I'm sure the loon would let me know if I had nothing to return to. I mean, aren't you the least bit curious? There could be flying cars, utopian societies, who knows? Even if it's robot overlords or a post-apocalyptic hellscape, I still want to see it. Personally, no, I'm not curious, not even morbidly. What about you got some Nirvana, though?" Paul asked. "They're going to miss their vocalist." "I'm sure they would love to return to more traditional music. I think the novelty of Nirvana covers played on lute and flute has worn thin. Anyway, you guys act like I'm never coming back. I'm just going to check things out. Given how time works, I'll probably be back tomorrow at the latest." "What about tonight, though?" asked Eltherea. "It's a raven moon, and I have it on good authority that you'll be part of tonight's story fire. To paraphrase Pee-wee, I don't need it, Ellie. I've lived it. Oh, also, I have seen it. The storyteller is already doing it again?" "Well, now Skygale is old enough to understand more. We thought she might appreciate the story of how her mother and father met." "Let me guess. The storyteller received some fish earlier." Richard grinned at Eltherea, then looked down at the child standing between her parents. He ruffled her dark curly locks, which were tucked behind 2 ears that were not quite as pointy as her mother's. She looked up at him and smiled, before backing up between her mother and father, peeking out from between their legs. "That's my shy Sky," he said, looking down at the child. "Don't worry. Uncle Rich will bring you something back from other place." "Just make sure it's not radioactive," Paul remarked. "I'll see what I can do," Richard said, laughing. "Now, I really must be going," he said, switching to Elvish. "Calarian awaits me down below. We must get riding to make it there before sundown." He embraced them both and was off. Later that night, Eltherea, Skygale, and Paul left their weaving and walked hand in hand to the town circle. Periodically, they would swing their daughter between them, and she would respond, laughing in delight. Glowflies fluttered about as a gentle breeze helped the trio cool down on this warm summer evening. They found a spot close to the storyteller's podium and sat down cross-legged on the mossy ground, with Skygale sitting on her father's lap. Luthnoel and Melongar soon joined them, followed by Bellarania and Eritha. The meeting place continued to fill with expectant faces, each aglow from the surrounding torchlight. The storyteller entered, climbing to the center of the podium, and turned in a circle as he poured the powder into the channel of the surrounding stone. He conjured his mirror self and addressed the villagers. "My friends, most of you know this tale well, but there are new eyes and ears that are ready to see and hear with a better understanding. Do you consent to this tale?" He looked out onto all the outstretched hands. "Then listen now to the story of the elf Eltherea and the human Paul. So it begins!" There was a flash of light, and 2 little eyes, one blue, one brown, opened wide.